On a cold November morning in 2019, mourners gathered to say goodbye to 32-year-old Jennifer Bailey. Her friends sobbed. Her mother collapsed at the graveside. And standing in the back, holding a single white rose, was the man who murdered her. He thought attending would make him look innocent. He thought he could blend in with the grieving crowd. He thought he was smarter than the detectives watching his every move. He was wrong. This is the disturbing true story of a killer who couldn't resist one final visit to his victim, and the tiny mistake that brought him down.
Welcome to True Crime Tapes, where we bring you the most gripping, mysterious, and heart-stopping stories from the world of true crime. If you're fascinated by the unknown and want to uncover the secrets that the world tries to hide, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a chilling story. And for those of you already part of our community, welcome back. We're glad to have you with us. Drop a comment below to share your thoughts and theories, because we love hearing from you. True Crime Tapes. The truth is always stranger than fiction.
Jennifer Bailey wasn't supposed to die at 32. She was a second-grade teacher in Riverside, California. The kind of person who stayed late to help struggling students, who bought school supplies with her own money, who remembered every child's birthday. Her friends described her as cautious, almost paranoid about her safety. She had a Ring doorbell, pepper spray on her keychain, and never walked alone at night. But all the precautions in the world couldn't protect her from someone she trusted. On the evening of November 14th, 2019, Jennifer finished her shift at Riverside Elementary School around 4:30 p.m. Security footage shows her walking to her silver Honda Civic in the parking lot. She's on her phone, smiling, talking to someone. She drives home to her apartment on Magnolia Avenue. Her neighbor, Mrs. Chun, sees her pull into the parking garage at 5:02 p.m. That's the last time anyone sees Jennifer Bailey alive. When she doesn't show up for work the next morning, her principal tries calling. No answer. Her classroom aide tries texting. Nothing. By noon, her mother drives to Jennifer's apartment and convinces the building manager to open the door. What they find inside changes everything. Jennifer is lying in her bedroom, already cold. The medical examiner would later determine she'd been dead for approximately 16 hours. Cause of death: manual strangulation. But here's what made this case different. There was no forced entry. No signs of a struggle in the living room. Jennifer's purse sat untouched on the kitchen counter, wallet and cash still inside. Her laptop was open on the couch, paused on a Netflix show. Whoever killed Jennifer Bailey, she let them inside.
Detective Sarah Martinez caught the case. She'd been with Riverside PD for 14 years, worked dozens of homicides, and she knew the statistics by heart. When a woman is murdered in her own home, there's an 85% chance she knew her killer. Husband, boyfriend, ex-partner, family member. So Martinez started with the obvious question: who was in Jennifer Bailey's life? Jennifer wasn't married. No current boyfriend. Her ex, Marcus Thompson, had moved to Oregon 6 months earlier for a job. Detectives confirmed he was at work in Portland on the night of the murder. Solid alibi. Her family was close-knit but lived 2 hours away in San Diego. Phone records confirmed her mother called her around 7 p.m. that night. Jennifer answered. They spoke for 8 minutes. Nothing unusual. So who else? Martinez pulled Jennifer's phone records. In the 48 hours before her death, Jennifer had exchanged texts with 12 different people. Co-workers, friends, her mother, her dentist's office, and one number that appeared 47 times. The contact name simply read, Brian, handyman.
Brian Wallace was 38 years old. Self-employed handyman. No criminal record beyond a DUI from 2014. According to text messages, Jennifer had hired him 3 weeks earlier to fix a leaking pipe under her bathroom sink. He'd done the job, charged her $200, and apparently, they'd stayed in touch. The text started professional, then friendly, then flirty. You did a great job on the sink. You're a lifesaver. Smiling face with smiling eyes. Happy to help. Let me know if you need anything else fixed. I might need my garbage disposal looked at. I'll come by this weekend. But here's where it gets interesting. On November 12th, 2 days before the murder, the tone shifts. Jennifer texts, "Hey, I've been thinking about this, and I don't think we should keep hanging out. You're really nice, but I'm just not interested in dating right now." Brian replies immediately, "Wait, what? I thought we had something." Can we at least talk about this? Jennifer, there's nothing to talk about. I'm sorry. I need to focus on myself right now. Then nothing from Jennifer. But Brian keeps texting. November 13th, 7 a.m. Jennifer, please just give me a chance to explain. November 13th, 11:30 a.m. I drove by your school today. Your car was there. You're ignoring me? November 13th, 9:45 p.m. Fine. I get it. I'll leave you alone. November 14th, 3:12 p.m. Actually, I left my drill at your place. Can I swing by and grab it tonight? November 14th, 3:47 p.m. Jennifer responds for the first time in 2 days. Fine. Come by after 5. Then please don't contact me again. That was the last text Jennifer Bailey ever sent. Detective Martinez brought Brian Wallace in for questioning the day after Jennifer's body was discovered. He came willingly, seemed shocked, said all the right things. This is horrible. Who would do this to her? We were friends. I was helping her with some repairs. I haven't seen her in like a week. Martinez asked him directly, "Did you go to Jennifer's apartment on November 14th? Brian looked her dead in the eye. "No, I was home watching TV all night." Brian Wallace was lying, and Detective Martinez was about to prove it. Security footage from Jennifer's apartment building showed a white Ford F-150 pickup truck entering the garage at 5:47 p.m. on November 14th. The same truck was registered to Brian Wallace. A neighbor on Jennifer's floor reported hearing raised voices around 6:15 p.m. A man and a woman arguing. She couldn't make out the words, but remembered because it was unusual. Jennifer was always quiet. And then there was the physical evidence. Crime scene investigators found a partial fingerprint on Jennifer's bedroom doorframe. It matched Brian Wallace's prints from his DUI arrest in 2014. They also found something else. Carpet fibers under Jennifer's fingernails. When detectives searched Brian's truck 3 days later, those same fibers matched the carpet in his vehicle. The timeline was clear. 5:47 p.m., Brian enters Jennifer's building. 6:15 p.m., neighbors hear arguing. 6:30 to 7 p.m., estimated time of death. 7 p.m., Jennifer's mother calls. Brian, likely still there, doesn't answer the phone. 7:23 p.m., security footage shows Brian's truck leaving the garage. But here's the problem. All of this was circumstantial. Brian's fingerprint could be explained. He'd been there before doing repairs. The carpet fibers? Maybe Jennifer had been in his truck previously. The security footage proved he lied about being there, but it didn't prove murder. Martinez needed a confession, or a witness, or a massive mistake. She was about to get all three, because Brian Wallace couldn't stay away from Jennifer Bailey, not even after she was dead.
Jennifer Bailey's funeral was held on November 21st, 2019, exactly 1 week after her murder. St. Catherine's Catholic Church in Riverside. The service was scheduled for 10 a.m. Detective Martinez made a decision. She stationed plainclothes officers in and around the church. She knew the statistics. Killers often attend their victims' funerals, sometimes out of guilt, sometimes to relive the crime, sometimes to see if police suspect them. She briefed her team. Watch for anyone who seems too interested in the family's reactions. Anyone filming or taking photos. Anyone who shows up late or leaves early. And watch for Brian Wallace. The funeral began. Over 200 people attended. Teachers from Jennifer's school. Former students and their parents. Friends from college. Her devastated family in the front row. Martinez scanned the crowd from the back of the church. And then, at 10:17 a.m., 17 minutes into the service, the door creaked open. Brian Wallace stepped inside. He wore a dark suit, sunglasses indoors. He carried a single white rose, and he stood in the very back, barely visible behind a support column. Martinez's heart rate spiked. She radioed her team. Target in sight. Northwest corner. Do not approach. Just observe. What happened next was captured on 3 different officers' body cameras. Brian Wallace watched the entire service from the shadows. He didn't sit, didn't sing, didn't pray. He just watched. When Jennifer's mother gave her eulogy, breaking down multiple times, Brian raised his phone. He was recording. After the service, as the casket was carried out, Brian followed the procession to Riverside Memorial Cemetery. He parked his truck 5 rows back from the gravesite, got out, walked closer. Detective Martinez and her partner, Detective James Rodriguez, watched from an unmarked car. Rodriguez whispered, "Why is he here?" Martinez, "Because he can't help himself." As mourners gathered around the grave, Brian Wallace stood approximately 50 feet away. He placed his white rose on the ground at his feet, not on the casket, not with the other flowers, just on the grass where he stood. And then he did something that sealed his fate. He smiled. Not a big smile, not obvious, but Officer Chen, positioned 15 feet away with a telephoto camera, caught it. A small, barely perceptible smile as Jennifer's mother collapsed sobbing at the graveside. After the burial, as people dispersed, Brian walked to his truck. But before getting in, he made a phone call. Officer Davis, stationed nearby, recorded the conversation. Brian speaking to someone, "Yeah, I'm here. I know. I just had to see it, you know? Had to make sure. No one's paying attention to me. Yeah, I'm being careful. I'll tell you about it later." Martinez had heard enough. As Brian started his truck, 2 unmarked police vehicles blocked him in. Martinez approached his window. "Brian Wallace, we need you to come down to the station for some follow-up questions." Brian's face went pale. "What? Right now? I'm at a funeral." "We know. That's exactly why we need to talk."
In the interrogation room, Brian Wallace tried to maintain his innocence. "I cared about Jennifer. I wanted to pay my respects." Detective Martinez leaned forward. "You cared about her so much you strangled her to death?" "I didn't kill her." "Then why did you lie about being at her apartment that night?" Silence. "Why did you record her mother's eulogy on your phone?" Silence. "Why did you smile at her burial?" Brian's lawyer, who'd arrived by this point, whispered something to him. But Martinez wasn't done. "We have your fingerprints in her bedroom. We have carpet fibers from your truck under her nails. We have security footage of you leaving her building 30 minutes after she was killed. And we have you, standing at her funeral, recording her family's grief like it's entertainment." Martinez placed a photo on the table. The telephoto shot of Brian smiling at the gravesite. "This is you, at the funeral of the woman you murdered, smiling." Something in Brian broke. His lawyer said, "Don't say anything." But Brian was already talking. "She rejected me. After everything I did for her. I fixed her sink, her garbage disposal. I gave her a discount, and she just tossed me aside like I was nothing." "So you killed her?" "I didn't mean to. I went over to talk, to make her understand. But she wouldn't listen. She said she was going to call the police if I didn't leave. She tried to push me out the door, and I grabbed her. I didn't mean to hold on so long. I didn't mean." His lawyer cut him off. But it was too late. The confession was recorded. Brian Wallace was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The phone call he made at the cemetery? He'd been talking to his brother, admitting he had to see her one last time, and that no one suspects anything. The recording on his phone from the funeral? It was saved in a folder titled Jenny, with 47 other videos and photos of Jennifer he'd secretly taken over the previous 3 weeks, including footage of her at the grocery store, at a restaurant, getting her mail. Jennifer Bailey hadn't just rejected a date. She'd rejected her stalker. In March 2021, Brian Wallace was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. During sentencing, Jennifer's mother addressed him directly. "You took my daughter, but you couldn't take her memory. And your arrogance, your need to show up at her funeral, that's what caught you. You thought you were smarter than everyone. You weren't. You never were." Brian Wallace said nothing. He just stared at the floor. Detective Martinez later told reporters, "Killers who attend funerals are playing a dangerous game. They think it makes them look innocent. But it does the opposite. It puts them right in our sights." She was right. Brian Wallace could have disappeared, could have stayed silent, could have gotten away with murder. But his ego, his need to be close to Jennifer one last time, brought him down. Sometimes the worst criminals are caught not by brilliant detective work, but by their own inability to walk away. Jennifer Bailey's students still remember her. Her school named their library after her. And every year on November 14th, they hold a memorial service. Brian Wallace is not invited. If you found this case disturbing, you're not alone. Stalking is a serious crime that affects 1 in 6 women and 1 in 19 men in the United States. If someone in your life is showing obsessive behavior, constant texting, showing up unannounced, refusing to accept rejection, please reach out to local authorities or call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. This was the case of the killer who returned to his victim's funeral. Subscribe for more true crime investigations. And remember, justice doesn't always come fast, but it comes.